That means I got to share screens. All right.
Yo, look who's back to my left. I never know which way to point. This guy. That way. That'll work. Hey man, the man is back.
Yo,
what up,
daddy.
brother? Okay, don't. Did you just call yourself daddy?
That's right.
Okay.
You're daddy.
This just got really awkward.
What's the girl's podcast? Call her daddy?
Call her daddy. Yeah,
anyway.
60 million on Spotify. Shout out to them, man. Cheers to that. Salute.
Cheers.
Today's
Wood Forrester.
Yeah, man. Today's the catch up. We're gonna be talking some shh. I'm trying not to cuss on intros. I've realized that's not the best way to go about it if you're listening to it with kids in the car. So I'm trying to be very professional. I'm trying. Fading horribly. Yeah. But here's the intro. Yeah. Bam. Yo, what are you doing right now?
The big V. Look, man.
All right, man. Let's just jump right into this shit.
So I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway. Es a major.
Pues con eso. Pues con español.
¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Man Chatter Podcast. That robot lady freaks me out, bro. I don't understand why Zoom started doing that shit, but I talk about that every time. Like, it tells me I'm being recorded.
You gotta get used to it.
Yeah, thanks, big sister. Hey, my brother. Episode 190.
I got the same thing at work.
Cheers, man. Welcome back from vacation.
Yeah, it was. I'm going back on vacation this Friday.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not going on vacation. I'm just working remotely because why stay here?
Yeah, why stay in Ohio? I mean, LeBron left twice. You could leave more than a few times. You know what I
mean? Right. I've come back more than LeBron.
Sadly, but you're trying to leave too. Hey, man, where did you go on your vacation? Because I remember you. I remember you telling me. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Mel's got family in Norfolk and Virginia Beach area, so we headed out there to celebrate Javi's birthday, to celebrate a graduation of a niece, celebrate another nephew's birthday. Funnily enough, we were at the pool, right on the beach at the hotel we stayed at, like for the celebration, for the high school celebration, a graduation party. And we started throwing the football, Javi and I and another group of guys, and we got to talking, and they're from like 20 minutes from where I live right now. And I was like, man, everybody wants to get the fuck out of Cleveland. Yeah. They're like, where are you guys from? Ohio? Where in Ohio? Rocky River? I was like, oh, we're like 20 minutes away from you guys.
What the hell?
Yeah, we're all leaving.
Yeah, everybody's leaving.
No one wants to be over there.
Yeah, what's going on with Ohio that there's like a mass exodus? Is it like the tax? Something's got to be going on. Just besides the shitty weather.
I told you the issues with the taxes here, right?
Yep.
And supposedly they're tax friendly or compared to other states, but there's state tax, obviously there's federal tax, there's local tax. Like if you work somewhere and you live in a different city, you pay tax for the locality of where you work and then tax of where you actually live. Now you get a credit or they offset it because you'd be double taxed, but it's crazy. This is the only place that I was like, wait, I gotta pay tax for the fucking city? And then there's this bitch named Rita. Her name is Rita. I forget what Rita stands for. It's like it's another tax, but they call her the bitch named Rita.
Yeah.
And I'm about to look it up because I haven't paid my Rita taxes this year. Not that they care. I think it's like $300. Regional Income Tax Agency. So that's another tax that you pay. And I'm like, so I'm paying Rita taxes because this county is one of those taxes that participates in that fucking system.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to pay taxes out of my check because I see it on my damn pay stubs, like the local city tax. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I need to get the fuck out of this place.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. Like, I didn't realize, obviously, because look, the only place I've ever been taxed from is Florida, right? Even when I lived in Hawaii and was stationed in Missouri, it was always, home record is Florida. Yeah. So I didn't realize how other taxes were. That's fucking crazy. Like I know New York has some shit like a borough tax and a city tax and just a bunch of different taxes.
It's similar to that, I think.
Yeah, fuck that, bro. Like that's insane. and it's not like your state is
it's nuts. And I mean, my property
any better.
taxes are already almost 5 G's.
Yeah, and it's not like your state's any better than any. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever wonder, like, this is one of those things that like that leads us down a different conversation. You ever wonder like where the fuck those taxes allegedly go to? Like where, like who get like you don't have like super cops.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have super roads. You know what I mean? Like for all those taxes, that has to go somewhere. Like what do like city employees get paid? Like
they do. I see it in my city, the city of Strongsville municipality or whatever they want to call themselves, a city. But you know, the services, the schools, the roads, they're repaving the roads constantly. The city of Cleveland, though, potholes everywhere. Like that's probably them in Detroit, the fucking #1 place to get a damn like punch your tire or something, because they're gonna fuck your tires up, your wheels up, going through them potholes. I mean, and you know, the weather dictates that. It's super cold in the winter, and then they put the ice, they fuck up the roads.
Super hot,
or they drop the salt, whatever. It's gonna happen. Yeah, and then really hot. I fucking almost died running 4 miles today. For me, I ran an 8:40 pace, something like that for 4 miles.
That's pretty slow for you.
And for me, that was slow. Now, my intention was to go slow, but I was like, fuck, like I can't go any faster than this.
If you wanted to,
I had to remind myself, hey, get your knees up, push, like, you know, like just reminding myself of good running form instead of like just like kind of just barely getting one foot in front of the other, and you hear the fucking shoes just scraping across. You hear the bottom of the soles of your shoes just scraping the ground. I'm like, all right, pick up your feet. If I can get your knees up, and let's go. You got half a mile to go. Stop being a bitch. I was dying, dude. I was fucking dying.
Now, did you decide to go running?
My son had track practice today. It was hot as fuck on that track.
Did you decide to go running because you watched the trials the last 2 weeks?
No, but I've been running since like mid-May. Like that's when I come out of winter hibernation, no running because it's too cold outside. I'm like, oh, it's 50 degrees outside. I'm not fucking running. Of course, it's 50 degrees in Ohio. It'll be 40 degrees in May too. I'm like, all right. This year I started running a little early. Last year I didn't start running till mid-June. This year I think it was early or mid-May. But I'm gonna have to buy a treadmill because I hate that feeling of like taking the winter off. And in the winter I'm on the rower and I'm just lifting. But I don't do any running whatsoever. I'm not fucking stepping foot out there.
You could probably find
I thought I was good. When I started running in May. I was like, I've been working out. I put on like 12 pounds of muscle. I've been on that rower, killing the rower. I'm good. Yeah. Like that's a full body workout. My legs are strong as fuck. I fucking stopped after 3/4 of a mile. I was like, I can't. I gotta stop, walk. Like,
that's rough.
And my first couple runs, I was like running, stopping, and walking for a little bit, running for another half mile. If you could call it running, it was rough. I was like, holy shit. My lower back is killing me. Like, is this what happens when you get older? Is this because I'm out of running shape? I was out of running shape. I wasn't out of shape. I just not running shape.
Running shape's a different animal, man. Running shape's a different. Like, look, I've never been a runner, right? Like, most I ever ran was in the Army, and even then it was mostly me motivating myself because I was shit talking to other people. Hey man, how y'all going? I'd be like, hey man, how you gonna be slower than me? I weigh 100 pounds. I weigh 100 pounds more than you. Better get your ass up here. Fuck you doing back there? That was the only way that worked for me. I've never been a runner, so kudos to you for keeping that up.
Yo, running
is a monster.
Korea with the Katusa soldiers, the Korean augmentees to the U.S. Army. That's what Katusa stands for. KATUSA.
Okay.
Essentially, these are guys that are connected. Like, it's everyone in Korea has to serve 2 years in the military conscription there. So you got to do police force, firefighters, Korean Army, Air Force, etc., or do the Katusa thing, which is like you actually go and serve with the U.S. Army. But the people that get to do that are the people that are well connected.
Right.
Like they have some kind of connection through political affiliations or money or whatever. Dude, these fucking guys would smoke cigarettes right before a PT test and then go out and kill the fucking run. Like they're like just chain smoking like a motherfucker and then go out for a run. And so, I mean, and they're the only ones that like challenged me. There was a couple guys that like, but I'm like, dude, like, what if I was smoking like that? Do I need to be smoking like that to be running like 10 minutes, 2 miles or what?
Yeah,
is that the secret? It's going to give me a greater lung capacity. The more I smoke, the more that my lungs are going to get used to breathing the shitty air. I don't know. Not that the air was shitty, but it was ridiculous. Like I would watch that. I was like, yo, we're about to go run up. Like this is a APFT. Like this shit is graded. You know that, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, they were good.
They were good every time.
Before.
That shit doesn't. Nobody I knew that ran like that was ever a smoker. Like we had this dude named Kurt Summer who ended up like running for the army. He like every year on his birthday would run that amount of miles. So if he was like turning 25, he'd run 25 miles, drive the route the night before, like drop off water specific locations, like that type of shit. Like he was that type of fucking dude. Like he literally like he ran so ridiculous that like when we do the 2 mile, he'd like run it back and forth and catch any stragglers. Like, hey man, come on, you're running too slow, you're not gonna pass.
Oh, I did that.
I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here, man. Like he like ran for fun. He ended up getting out like because he ended up running for, I think, for University of Oregon or some shit, like on a scholarship. And he
that's where you go, motherfucking beast. If you went to Oregon to run, then
because he was from Oregon.
Go.
Yeah, he was from Oregon.
Runners go there. Distance runners.
Yeah, he was from Oregon, so it was just like he was just going back home. Shout out to him, man. One of the nicest. Listen, every person I've ever met from Oregon are nice as shit. Like my boy John Higgins, one of the nicest people. Still the best turkey I've ever had from a friend. He deep fried a turkey, fucking delicious. So shout out to him. But yeah, like that's a special kind of animal that special kind of human being that like enjoys running to that level.
Yeah, man. I was looking at there's an ultra race, a Spartan race in San Francisco in November.
You don't train for that, no?
They have a 10K. They have a 10K. They have a half, and then it goes from 10K to half to then they have the 50K, which is a little more than a full marathon, and the 100K. And you start in San Francisco, and then you run through the fucking whatever. There's this
whatever the route is,
trails there in Marin County. No, I'm not quite ready for that. I'd like to do the half marathon. I know I can do that. I've done half marathons and full marathons before, but this is trail running. But the thing that I got into, or just in my mind, I got into it because I've been riding my bike and we talked about this, was doing a cross country route, or there's the Buckeye Trail here, which is like 400 miles or something like that. And it's mostly unpaved. And I just want to do what they call bike packing. So just putting like a tent and supplies and riding 60, 70, 80 miles a day, resupplying, camping out at night, doing that shit from like Cincinnati all the way to Lake Erie. That's just one of like the hundreds of trails that are all over the country and the world. That's the kind of biking I want to get into. Like it's been fun doing the trails and riding fast and almost killing myself doing like 30 miles an hour downhill on my mountain bike. But I'd like to just do a trip like that. I know to you that sounds crazy white people shit, even though I'm
Latino, white passing. You're white passing.
I'm not Caucasian. I'm still Latino. I'm Latino, and maybe you're like, dude, hey, you're Latino. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't do this shit.
Exactly.
I want to do it, man. That shit sounds exciting.
That analysis of the faces I was making is 100% accurate. No, look, I salute you for I salute you for wanting to do that. All I think of is like you falling, breaking your leg, and you're never heard from again.
I can't do it on my own. I have to do it with someone else. I talked to Mel about it, not for her to do it, because she's like, if I ever brought the topic up to her, she would look at me like with a look of disgust.
Yes, as she should.
She might even file papers that day. But no, she's like, you know what? I brought it up to her, and she kind of told me like, you're fucking crazy. But she didn't cuss. She doesn't really cuss unless like she's pissed. She's like, you're out of your mind. And then later on, she's like, that sounds like a good idea, but how about we do this? How about you bike it? And then
she drives it.
We obviously got to plan it out. So wherever it is that you're planning to like camp for the night, I'll get a hotel or a cabin or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll just meet you there. Javi and I will hang out and do all the cool shit while you're biking for 7 hours trying to get to the spot. And we'll have dinner. And then you spend you spend the night in the tent. We'll stay in the hotel room and in the cabin. And then we'll see you the next day. We'll see you off, and then we'll drive fucking 80 miles. We'll take them an hour and a half to drive, and I'll be out there on the bike for 8 hours trying to get to the same spot because it's through, it's through trails. So terrain, who knows if I have to do uphills and climbs and shit. It's mostly like good trails because these are developed trails. But she's like, yeah, we can do it. We'll do it that way, and we'll do it together. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down. If we can do there's called the Northern Divide or the Great Divide or something like that goes from Canada all the way down to New Mexico. To the border of the U.S. and Mexico, and it's like 2,700 miles. I'm like, if I do this Buckeye Trail, I'm gonna want to do this fucking crazy.
They're never gonna stop.
700-mile trip. I'm gonna want to do it.
That'd be some dope ass shit, especially like especially doing it that way, because then you know
By
how
the
like
way, we didn't talk about this before the show.
this is what happens.
But this is the catch up. This is the shit that's been on my mind.
Yeah, exactly. This is the catch up. I told you like, but before we started recording, like, oh, we're gonna stick to 30 minutes. We're gonna one word gonna set us off on some shit on a tangent for 22 minutes and shit. So
10, yep, there we go. Right now,
that's what happened. That'd be cool though. I'll give you credit for that. You definitely gotta have like your location services on. Like make sure you know what I mean. You gotta test it out, see what areas would have. You definitely would have to do some recon for that, like just to be safe. You can't just go out there and start fucking. Oh, I'm just gonna do this today. Hey Mel, meet me in 80 miles. You gotta like have a plan. You gotta form it to see what happens. See what the services are like for your phone, and maybe have like a walkie. You know what I mean? Like a distress signal or shit like that. Well, you know what to do, man. You're not dumb.
Yeah, and these courses they're marked that they have resupply. They go through towns. Some of it will be paved, but most of it will be just like national parks, state parks, or just private lands. But yeah, they usually go through some towns, but there'll be times for maybe 10, 15 miles, which doesn't seem like a lot when you're in a car, but when you're on a bike,
it's a lot
for 10 miles. And you got to climb, or you got to just work your way through like tight spaces. Like it's a lot, especially if you've been riding for 5 hours already.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, they have maps, GPS stuff. People that have completed these routes already, so they already have like camping areas laid out. If you miss one, there's another one. If you need to stop short of your planned one, they have other. So yeah, I've looked at those maps. I'm like, okay, this is definitely doable.
Yeah, no, that'd be dope, man.
Yeah, I'm not Lewis. I'm not. What is it? I'm not Lewis and Clark. I'm not trailblazing. People have done this before me. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be first. Don't ever be first, man. You should know that from the jump. Now that'd be dope, man. I'd be curious to know if you really go through with that. Look, last time I rode I got lost, so I'm really weary of that shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I haven't been on a bike in a minute, so I definitely want to get back on it and get back in it. But like the fact that like I got lost, I'm a baby stepping now. I'm gonna go on like paved, slowly start dipping my toe again and like into unpaved. You know what I mean? And get myself back into it that way, because that shit was scary getting lost, dude. That day I did like I think it was like 12 miles. And like that last mile, I was just exhausted and trying to walk. Like, where the fuck am I? Like, just trying to orient myself, because it was the little route that we did was super easy, but like it was in that vein of routes, right? Like where if you just make a left and a right, left and a right, left and a right, and then it just curves. Before you know, you're like, okay, everything is like there'd be like 2 trees painted white and blue, and each one is a different route, but like it's on the same tree almost. It was very confusing. So I was disoriented as fuck.
Yeah, because I remember when we set out on that ride, like we were supposed to make a turn, like, and then we didn't know that we were supposed to make the turn like as soon as we started that route, because it didn't seem like it on the map. But on the way back, we were like, oh shit, this is the turn. Because on the way back, we caught that same.
And it was like literally like over a bush.
We should have turned right here.
Yeah, it was like over a bush and didn't see it at all. But you couldn't see
it because at that point the trail was really, really like narrow, and you couldn't really see it. It wasn't really I don't know, this wasn't well defined.
Yep.
But then we kind of caught it on the way back. We're like, oh, there it is, dumbass.
Fucking it is.
It was fun. That's why you ride. That's why you ride.
That's 100%. It was a good time, man. Definitely got to get back in it though. I have everything for my bike I need, so it's time to stop bullshitting and get on it. But yeah, man, look at that shit. Like, was it like 15 minutes on a random bike tangent? That's just what happened. So what did you do on your vacation? What did you end up doing? I saw you went to like Washington D.C. and shit like that.
We did. We went to D.C. Last week, or not this previous week, the week before last. Went to D.C. Went to the monuments. I think it was Thursday evening, and then Friday we got up early, and then we went to see some of the monuments again, the Capitol, because Mel's family from Cali hadn't seen it, like they hadn't seen it during the day, and so we just they got to see it at night, but they wanted to see it during the day, and so we just got a bunch of Lime scooters. I got all these fucking apps, by the way. I'm gonna show you right here, because they have all the goddamn all the damn scooter companies out there. There's Lime, there's Skip, and there's I think Spin or whatever that says.
People ride scooters like that in
so
DC?
I had to be ready. I had to be ready because if I was like, oh, let me get this Lime scooter, and I'm like, oh shit, there's not a Lime scooter, but let me get this other one because they got this company, the Spin is out here or
Mhm.
Skip is here. Yeah, they're all over the place over there. I ended up paying $98 for like an hour and 20 minutes for 4 scooters. That shit is no joke
What the
to ride
now?
around. Yeah,
Now when
it's
okay,
it's a dollar. It's a dollar to unlock it. It's
okay,
for Lime anyway. It's a dollar to unlock it, and I think it's it's 35 cents per minute. And I
that's
had like
expensive.
4 or 5 of them.
That's
That's
expensive, bro.
expensive as fuck.
It's
Yeah,
expensive as fuck, bro.
yeah,
How are they motorized or like are you
yeah.
fucking like kicking along? You just like revving up?
Yeah. No, you just kick it to get it going. They're electric scooters.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
doing like 12 miles an hour. So you kick one time and then you just hit the throttle and you're good.
You're
And I'm
good to
out
go.
there like doing all sorts of crazy shit, jumping onto the gravel. I'm like, where is this Capitol Police is gonna come out here from nowhere and just tackle me like, hey, stupid, just
Yeah,
ride, just like get from point A to point B.
yeah, just have a good time, bro. What the fuck are you doing trying to jump cliffs and shit on a 12-mile-an-hour scooter? That's crazy, bro. What the fuck was I doing
That
when
was
you were on
fun.
vacation?
That was a good
Uh,
time.
I yeah,
That's the type of shit you should do at
wild
the
shit. Yeah,
National Mall.
yeah, that's the type of shit I believe you can do. I believe my experience might be a little bit
Oh,
different.
me, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the
yeah,
heights.
maybe.
Yeah, in the heights. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. I'm saying like if
You know, I
Lin-Manuel
was in the
Miranda,
heights. I was talking to. Yeah, you think Lin-Manuel would have gotten away with it?
no, no,
Probably.
no, no. I'm saying you would have
He's
been
light skinned
casted.
enough.
You would have been casted. I would have not made the cut. That's all I'm saying.
You would have been Benny. You would have been Benny,
First of all, he was like black. He wasn't even like Afro
and he wasn't
Latino.
even Latino.
He wasn't even
No,
Latino,
he
bro.
wasn't.
He was honestly the worst part of that movie was them two. I didn't need a secondary like. If you haven't seen the movie, sorry, 3, 2, 1. I didn't need like a secondary love story
I liked it.
in that situation. I didn't think. Then she just like left, dude. Like, hey, sorry, like you can't go. He can't go with her. Like they can't go to college together. Like he could just like get an apartment and they'll figure it out in Cali. I don't know. I didn't need a
No,
secondary.
she's gone to Stanford.
Yeah. So what? He could get a job. Like what the fuck?
Hey, look, but look. So that was the whole thing. We talked about it, right? The colorism.
Yes.
That the darkest dude in the movie was not a Latino guy.
Mhm.
Then his love interest, the girl who went to Stanford, I can't even remember her name. She's a like a actress slash singer,
Yep.
Grace something.
Mhm.
Can't remember her name. Uh, I mean, I guess she's light skinned, but not as light skinned as like they made her out to be. Maybe they put makeup on her to kind of, but she's
Line
not
her
that
up.
light skinned. I mean,
No.
she's not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but like if you go to that neighborhood, because that's Washington Heights. So Washington Heights is up. That's north of Manhattan. I think that's the Bronx. So it's in the Bronx.
Mhm.
Like I think that's that demographic as far as what you see over there. Like that's what the people are gonna look like in that neighborhood. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of darker Latinos, but I think it's a conversation worth having as far as like they could have gotten more dark skinned Latinos there. People with like Afro Latino roots, but
Yeah. I thought some of the
I
dancers
don't
were
know.
Afro Latino.
Like at some point they were, and then that's the other. I think that's probably something that someone will complain about. They're like, yeah, why are we getting okay? We're getting background dancers. How about people up in the lead? How about people in the forefront?
But
Where is that
okay,
representation
this
at?
is actually going to
Where they
start
don't see it.
a good conversation. Again, see, this is what happens on the catch up. Now, here's where like I have the issue with like, oh, why can't it was like they're not casting based on skin tone, like you know what I mean? Like at least I don't think so, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm thinking about it like let's say this podcast, right? Like I don't know what I would be considered. I don't know if I'm considered like Afro Latino, like if I'm just like on the cusp of both. I have no idea. If I'm completely honest with you, right? Like we make a lot of jokes about you like being white passing and stuff like that, but I don't know specifically like if I would be like, oh no, I gotta get a darker co-host to be more, you know what I mean? To like I personally wouldn't think about it that way, but
I don't
also
capture the essence of being Latino. My hair's too straight. I'm too
eggs.
light skinned.
But if you look at
Whatever you want to.
if you
Yeah.
look at Anthony Ramos that plays the lead, he's just light skinned Afro because his hair isn't straight. Like he was in
Right.
And fuck is the name of
Yeah.
the 3 hour
In
play, bro?
Hamilton.
And he was in Hamilton. That hair grows out.
Yeah.
That shit's curly and that's an afro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what is that? Is that bringing in the light skin versus dark skin thing, where like people like the whole notion of back in the day, the real reality of back in the day when light skinned people were in the home, you know, working with the slave masters, when dark skinned people were out in the fields. So like now I have to cast my movie based on old notions, and then you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like there was the Afro Latino with like the Dominican chick, the hairdressers were all that I consider Afro Latinas. I mean, they were darker skin. Obviously, they're gonna be lighter because there's probably more makeup on them and shit like that. Like, yeah, but I didn't think it was as big of a deal as like people made it out to be. Like the two main cast members were, and honestly, the two best looking people. You know what I mean? And that's really, I think that's really how they casted it. Like Anthony Ramos is a good looking dude. Shout out to him getting Transformers. And the Mexican chick, I don't know her name. I mean, like I think it was just talent.
Yeah,
like, I didn't look at it as like.
I know, I agree. We're nitpicking. We're nitpicking, and I understand. Look, that whole history, because it happens everywhere, and you and I have talked about it, like and I talked about it to Mel in the Philippines and in Asia, right, and in India, where we're talking about the Europeans and the British, imperialism and colonizing all these places.
100%.
And it was something that was brought by them to essentially divide people that they were colonizing amongst themselves. Like if you were lighter, then all of a sudden you were better to these colonizers, right? And so it's just crazy because that's how it evolved. It wasn't there beforehand. It wasn't there, and I say that fully knowing that obviously I'm light skinned and I have the hair that I have, and so I know that my ancestry, my line comes from Spain, Europe, somewhere, from one of those colonizers, whatever.
As
that's all of us in Latin America. Like that's everyone in
Portuguese in Brazil.
Like, but that happens in Asia. In Asia it happens. Like everyone wants to have whitening products. They want that's who they cast in movies and shows and whatever, the lighter skinned people, because they think that that's
attractive. That's who's deemed attractive. That's who
they think is attractive. And I'm like, I wish I had darker skin. I'm like, why do you want some pasty white girl on the screen? Like, I don't want to see that shit. It's just not attractive. I don't like that.
I think my only problem
but that's me.
I think my only problem with like movies when they do stuff like that is like when they cast like clearly white, like in clear Asian movies or stuff like that, and they cast white people like Matt Damon in The Great Wall. Literally the only white person in the entire movie.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Like, what?
Look, what else?
Why not just be Asian?
About Narcos.
Yes.
Where it wasn't even a white versus, it was like an Argentinian guy playing a Colombian person. Like, fuck you guys. I'm not even watching more than 10 minutes of this fucking show.
Yeah.
Because I had just finished watching a Colombian show about
Escobar.
Yeah. And I was like, they were all Colombian. I think almost all of them were Venezuelan, the actors. So, and it was made in Colombia as a Colombian production company. So when I saw Narcos, because everyone's been talking about it for years and years, and when I finally went to watch it sometime within the last 6 months, I'm like, what the fuck? This dude is American, trying to pass off as I think his brother, and then the guy playing Escobar was. Or the guy playing Escobar was white, and the guy playing his brother was Argentinian or some shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit.
Very annoying.
Because I could pick up the accent. I'm like, and then his mother is Chilean? Who the fuck are these people? I was like, no, fuck you guys. Don't insult my intelligence like that.
You know about it? We watched this series. It's called One Day at a Time on Netflix, right? It's like a sitcom. It's written by Norman Lear. He's the writer who wrote like All in the Family, The Jeffersons, like classic sitcoms, and it was a remake, right?
Yeah.
And we're watching it, and the whole family is Puerto Rican in real life. Like they're all Puerto Rican, but they're playing Cubans, right? And then like the one Cuban they cast was like only showed up on like 2 episodes, and it was like from Law and Order SVU, actually from Miami, Danny Pino. But everybody else, like it was like Rita Moreno, that I absolutely am a huge fan of. She's like in the original cast of West Side Story, one of the best. She has an EGOT. I think she has a Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony. So she's won everything. Super. But it was just like weird. It was like, why not just cast Cubans? Like you couldn't have found 4 Cuban actors. It was like, but if you're not gonna make them, if you're gonna make them Puerto Rican in real life, why not just make them Puerto Rican in the show? You know what I'm saying? I was like, yes, they might be American
Yeah, I don't know.
citizens. They might be American citizens, and they don't have to have that struggle. But I'm sure there was because like there's overtones of like politics and shit like that. Like I'm sure Puerto Ricans still had that same sentiment, right? Like not all of them were like, yo, okay, cool, Trump. You know what I mean? Like because it was made during the time of Trump. I was like, yo, like just make them Puerto Rican, like because we looked them up. We finished the series because I think it just ended, right? And I was like, oh, they're all Puerto Rican. Like what? Like why cast them as Cubans? Why not just make them Puerto Ricans in the show? Because then they had to like struggle to have like Cuban accents and like speak because they spoke Spanish and like sound Cuban. I was like,
and it's not the same.
It's not the
It's
same,
a
bro.
different accent, man.
No, it's a totally different. It's a different intonation. Like they try to sound Cuban, and some do it well, but it's like it's just not the same. I was like, if that was real Cuban, I'm half Cuban. Like that'd be a lot louder. Like there'd be a lot more dramatics. The mom would be hovering more. You know what I mean? Like there'd be some more honest shit in this conversation. But it was just weird. I was like, just be Cuban, just be Puerto Rican. I don't know, but they're actors, so it doesn't matter.
No, look, going back to the Heights. I think we're nitpicking, and I get that. Like we're
not. People
no, people were, but I get what they're trying to say. It's like, okay, this is our movie about our culture, and then even within that, we're not representing everyone like they should. But I think at that point, it's like, I mean, the whole cast is Latino, and then and they got a black guy there. Like it's all Latino cast. It's Puerto Ricans, it's Cubans, it's Dominicans. The girl who's probably supposed to play a Puerto Rican is the Mexican girl, the love interest, his love interest, but she's Mexican. But we suspect that she's like Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever in that movie, right? She's not playing a Mexican. No, she's not playing a Mexican character there.
I thought she was playing Dominican. I thought she was playing
so
Dominican.
It was all inclusive. Like you got people from all over, and I get that they're light skinned, but I mean, like I think they just got the best actors for the roles. Like, could it have been better if they got actors that had darker complexion? Probably just as good or better. Who knows? But I just don't think that. I think at that point, like people are just nitpicking. You know what I mean? Like
I think
it's a hell of a movie. It's a really good movie. It's a great story. It's like,
I think at that point, it also diminishes and is very dismissive of the fact that it was like that I can think of, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a real sucker for recency bias. I can't think of another movie that was like fully cast with Latinos. You know what I mean? Except for like that one white dude that was like the guy who was
like an English speaking movie.
Yeah, like an English speaking movie, right? I can't think of one. The only white dude I can think that was in it was the guy who like showed up twice, and it was like when Abuela like was gonna sell the pañuelos, the like napkins to the guy. I was like, oh, I'll give you 1,500. Like that's the only white guy in the whole movie. And I mean, there's a black guy and like literally all Latinos. Like, and like even to the kids, like it's all Latinos. Like, what are we complaining? Like now we're gonna complain because we weren't more over. Like with the fact that this movie got made was probably monumental. Now we're gonna but look at what you didn't do. That's dismissive of the fact that like it happened. Like I don't know if Crazy Rich Asian. What do you say?
I say force field.
Okay.
I've been listening to Kevin Hart. The Decision. I say force field. Keep that negativity away from me. Force field. You can't affect me.
That's right, man. That's some real shit.
That's what I say. It's a good movie, man.
It's a
Watch
good movie,
it. Don't complain. Enjoy it. It's art. It's beautiful. It's a great story.
Hey, bro. I'm gonna have a serious question for you right now. Did you or did you not tear up at Alabanza?
Bro, I did.
Bro, listen.
I did. Alabanza. I was like, I felt it right here, and then I didn't let it get past up here. Like it started getting like towards my throat. I was like, now stay down there in the chest.
I got real warm.
Keep it. Just stay there. Stay there, motherfucker.
So, it was always good to bottle down your emotions.
That's what I was. That's always good. I don't know if I was getting looks. I don't know if I was getting crazy looks from the people around me because I was just like,
because you physically hit yourself.
Like, I physically hit my chest. Like, hey, what's going on? I was like, I thought I saw a fucking fly or something land on my shirt.
God.
You know, I'm eating chips. I thought I saw a fly land on my shirt, man. Watch the movie. Turn around.
I cried, bro. I cried in that shit. Like I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't I don't know anything about the play. But you know what I mean? I lost my grandma. Melanie's lost her grandma. So we cried. Like I cried, bro. Like that shit. I was not prepared for that. I was like, I knew she was gonna pass, but I didn't think they were gonna like have that moment right after. You know what I mean? Dude, that shit was it was such a good movie. I love musicals to begin with, though. Well, like I'll watch The Greatest Showman. I do.
Hamilton and In
the Heights.
And In the Heights. I was just like, wow, like this is good shit. It's like I don't like musicals. I don't
do.
like the Greatest Showman. You're not gonna get me to watch the Greatest Showman
It's a
or whatever.
great fucking
the
movie, bro.
Hugh Jackman movie.
Yeah. First of all, respect
I don't
Wolverine,
know.
bro.
Maybe one
Respect,
day.
son. Watch it. It's on
Uh,
Disney Plus. You got the
Nah,
bundle.
I don't
It's
think
on-
so.
Come on, man.
No, man. When they throw some fucking merengue and reggaeton in there, I'm gonna watch that shit. When Hugh Jackman is singing some like fucking salsa, then whatever. But I can't listen to
I would.
Hugh Jackman and fucking whatever that Snow White, whatever her name is.
Snow White.
I don't know who was in that movie with them.
No,
I
there's
don't
no
know.
Snow
I
White.
don't know
Michelle
the chick's
Williams is in
name
that
is.
movie. No, you should
I
definitely watch
don't
that.
know.
It's a good movie though. It's a
Sure.
solid movie. But no, In the Heights. Yeah, man. Get like look. And I don't know if I'm
Fatherhood
excusing.
too. I get choked up a little bit during.
Oh yeah, you got a kid too. Oh, me imagine growing up without a father. Like it's like could have been. But yeah, man. I don't know. Like, look, maybe we're making excuses and falling into the colonizing perspective of it, right? Of like, yeah, man,
Possible.
right? Like it's completely possible because propaganda is effective and it's hundreds and
Take
hundreds.
what you can get, man.
Yeah, take the W's, bro. Like take the W's. Like Kawhi Leonard still owns. We'll talk about that on the next one. Kawhi Leonard still gets a W over the Golden State Warriors, even if Kevin wasn't there. I mean, you take the W's. Like fucking Giannis is about to win a title without, you know what I mean, without playing a healthy Brooklyn. Like this is what it is. But that's for a conversation for another episode. Look, man.
Yeah, it is.
I had to chop down a fucking tree yesterday. And I didn't appreciate any part of it. And I, besides my internet, seriously considered selling my house. So, as you know, and those of you who listen
to that shit for a while now.
I know you have. You've been trying to get my house on the market for a minute. So this huge tree fell at the back of my property, probably Saturday night. Right? Yeah, Saturday. And go out there, walking my dog. I was like, damn, that shit's not supposed to be down like that. I walked closer and the whole branch is down. And I was like, the whole limb, sorry, because I figured out limb is what's attached to the tree, branches are what's attached to a limb, whatever. So the limb falls. I was like, fuck. So I get my chainsaw out. Me and my wife are out there, and it took us a solid probably 5 hours, bro. From chopping it down, hauling it off, making another pile. Besides the pile that's already out there that we gotta burn. And dude, like my back is hurting. Like I'm pulling like these branches are probably a solid 150 plus. Like the ones that I'm pulling. And obviously I'm cutting them down lighter for my wife because she can't, you know what I mean? That's to pull them like the 200-300 yards that we're pulling them. It's dude, I'm like I'm like dropping down, like putting on like I'm fucking playing tug of war with a LMTV, pulling all that shit. I'm exhausted. I was like, you know what? I was like, yo, fuck this. We got it done. We cleared the path because we were having the grass cut today, or else the grass wouldn't have been able to get cut back there. And then we're in the house exhausted. I've literally sweat through my fucking because I got old blood, right, which is extremely attractive to mosquitoes. So I get fucking harassed and destroyed. Yeah, O positive.
Me
all
too.
day. Yeah, it's the fucking worst. So I'm bathing it off any chance I get because I'm sweating it out. They're attacking. It's like it's the force field. I'm trying to keep negativity away. I'm force fielding this shit. So I'm out there, dude. I've sweat through my fucking joggers. I'm soaked, bro. It's hot as shit. And then we get in the house after I take a shower, relax. Another huge fucking branch falls in the front of my house. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Luckily, it was out of the way. Like it's not like a thing where like it could become an issue. You know what I mean? It's a huge branch, a huge limb that fell on top of another limb. So it's like just holding it up. And that one we can't bring it out because it's like held up. So I'm gonna have to get like a professional out here to like cut it down from the top down because it would be stupid the way physics works. If I cut it from the bottom up, it falls and kills us. So that's not gonna happen. So I was like, yo, fuck this. I just looked at it, I was like, yo, let's just put this shit on Realtor. Like just fuck this shit. So that's been what I've been gonna do is like, and then today I'm sitting on my couch and we're watching some shit from Watch Mojo about like the scariest houses. And on the back of my couch, a fucking skink, which is like a big ass lizard, is like walking.
Yeah, there you go again with that racial slur.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, doesn't it? I think it's called the skink. Skink, yeah. Pretty sure. Yeah. Walking across the back of my shit, which I thought was a snake because I've already got stung by a scorpion in my own home. So these are the things that's been happening with me while you've been fucking riding around in lime skip scooters.
Yeah. Hey, $3,078 is what it's going to cost me to remove 1, 2, 3 trees.
How the fuck
$3,078? Because like that story you're talking about, like I went through that a few months ago, right? You saw,
right.
I told you that tree fell across my fucking backyard.
Yep.
And my neighbor and I were cutting that shit down. A few thousand pounds for sure.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? I got a lot of trees in that backyard because we have this state park, whatever. It's a lot of trees. So I'm sure this neighborhood was built. They tore down a lot of this park, 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They preserve a lot of it. But I'm sure this was part of that reserve, of that preserve. And we got a lot of trees, which is beautiful. But I look up and I'm like, these motherfuckers don't look stable. They're going to fall on the house.
Yep.
And I'm like, look, I got insurance. My neighbor's been wanting me to cut down one of my trees. I was like, hey,
like all the way down,
tree,
like all the way down?
This big, yeah, like all the way down.
Okay.
He's like, you got this big pine tree. They don't have deep roots. And I get all these pine needles in the pool. I was like, it came with the house, man. I didn't plant it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like been trying to hook me up with he's like, I got a friend, I got a buddy who owns a business, a tree cutting business. He'll give you a good deal. Old white dude came over. He looked, gave me a number. He just put a number behind his business card, $3,500. Like, okay, I'll think about it. There was already a crew that had come before him though, and they gave me and they're the ones that told me $3,000. Like they said, okay, let me take measurements. Let me look at this. They went back, they worked it up, and they say, yeah, it's gonna cost $3,000 to do all this, remove it, cut down the stumps, cut your firewood, do this other stuff. This dude was gonna charge me $3,500 just to like cut some shit down and not do extra stuff, plus one less tree. So I was like, hey man, I said I like my evergreen. Like it sucks that you got all that shit in your pool every year. But I was like, I didn't plant it. It wasn't my fault. That shit was there before I moved in.
Facts.
So you should have had this conversation with the guy that sold me the house.
Yeah.
I was like, look, man, I hope it doesn't happen. But if the tree falls and it hits your house, you got insurance. You're good. Act of God.
You're a dick.
You didn't like that answer. I was like, act of God. I was like, I know you don't want to hear this, but it's act of God. Like I thought it was my insurance, but it's actually your insurance that has to pay for it because it lands on your house.
Yeah.
But you're good. Your shit doesn't go up.
$3,000, bro.
He didn't like that. I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna cut $3,000 for like 3 trees, and I have like 8 trees to fucking cut down. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Dude,
I can't.
When
I thought it was gonna be expensive, but not that expensive.
No, fuck that. That's way too expensive. I'll tell you, like, obviously different states, different shit, right? I'll tell you. Well, real quick, probably why they charge so much is because they live in a different city and they gotta pay that tax and this tax, so they gotta like make up the difference. That might be why.
Yeah, fuck taxes, man.
Yeah, but like I had trees cut. Remember I told you the trees that like fell on my chicken coop, and then like other branches got stuck to other shit and had to have all that cut down. They were here for like 8 hours. They cut a bunch of shit. It was like $1,000 because if it's $1,000 a day, so if they come out and cut a couple things, it's $1,000, right? Like unless it's like one little branch or some shit that I can't get to for whatever reason, it might be a little bit cheaper. But it's like no matter how much they cut, because like they cut everything. They gave a haircut of everything around the house, everything over the cars, and then the stuff over the chicken coop and shit like that. It was only $1,000. And then they like cleaned up different shit like on the drive out because there was a big branch.
That's not bad. It's just $1,000 to have them out there.
Yeah, it's $1,000 to have them out there, and they do all the work. And it was like some crazy shit because I sent you a picture of like that huge limb that was hanging on another limb that was like the size of a fucking tree. So it was crazy. Remember, like $3,500 for a fucking is insane. Absolutely ridiculous, sir. Absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
But yeah, man, I don't know what
that could have been a mountain bike.
So yeah, that could have been an e-bike right there.
$3,500 mountain bike.
That could have been the Marlin bike. That's what we should call it. All right, man. I got nothing else for the catch up. You got anything?
Are we going to get to this? We're going to talk about this for 5 minutes?
Oh shit! How did I forget the greatest
something
story?
That I just wanted to play just for a few minutes.
The greatest story ever told. Go ahead. Oh,
this made me smile.
Oh my god!
This
Shout out to Sam Cedar
over here with a
shout out to Sam fucking Cedar, bro. Oh my god, bro, dude, I totally forgot about it. This is what happens when you're a glass and a half into a podcast.
I know. we're fucking 40 minutes and what we thought was going to be a 25-minute podcast. I mean, we didn't think it would be. We just told ourselves, let's try to make it 25.
Why do
30.
Why do we lie?
Yeah.
Why do we lie?
Happen. All right, let's see what we got going on. Can you see the screen?
It says John just started sharing screen. I can't see it yet. There we go. All right, look. If you're listening to this and you're not like YouTube politics and shit like that, there's this joke of a human being called Steven Crowder. He's that change my mind meme guy that like goes to random colleges and argues with children and teenagers about their politics and so on and so forth. That's all he does. He catches people off guard, asks them questions that they're not prepared for. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And to make himself look good and look smart. Now, there's this other political commentator named Sam.
Meanwhile, he goes in prepared with talking points from a think tank, from his backers. So he's already got these talking points that whoever backs him financially has given him. A lot of these people are backing, by the way, probably also back Shapiro and Dave Rubin and all these other guys.
Brett Weinstein. I think
regardless, this is how he makes himself look good. By
there's a guy named Brett Weinstein.
Points prepared to argue an 18-year-old.
Yes. All right. So, and he tried to debate this huge podcast, H3H3. And he tried to debate him. Guy doesn't do politics. He just talks shit and talks about like random like pop culture and stuff like that. The things that I've seen. Funny guy, Ethan Klein. He's not politically savvy. That's not really his thing. And this podcast used to be a political podcast, but now it's not. Now we just make fun of people who do shit like this. So he is, Steven Crowder is terrified to debate a guy named Sam Cedar. Sam Cedar is another left-leaning podcaster and YouTube channel host with over 1 million subs. And this is what happened when Ethan Klein Trojan horsed. Yeah, that's what he did. He Trojan horsed Steven Crowder. Play that shit.
I hope it works.
The initial quote that kind of was turned into a little bit of a meme, which wasn't intentional, and was you saying you don't even have to think about it regarding the CDC. And I disagree with that. I think people should think about it. I believe, and we talked about this through Playful Ribbing, in an aggregation of medical authorities and scientific voices to make an informed and rational decision.
Pause it real quick.
He's like rubbing his thumbs.
He's terrified.
Yeah, he's rubbing his thumbs like he knows, because look, let's set this up. So the week before, they were supposed to go and do a show, him and Ethan Klein, right?
Yes.
And here's what happened. He was monitoring Sam Cedar's show to make sure that Sam was on live and that this very thing wasn't going to happen to him.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Because he is terrified of having a conversation with another person.
That's all it is. That's
and
all
so,
it is.
Because he's not an 18-year-old kid who he can bulldoze, right? So he's terrified of having a conversation with someone who has an educated opinion and who can debate. Ethan Klein, I don't know if we'll get to that part, but he says it himself. He's like, I'm not good at debating. I'm not into politics. I'm pretty stupid anyway. He's like, I'm not very intelligent. So I'm not, why would you debate me? What would that, other than making you feel good about yourself, what would that do to you? Like it adds no credibility.
100%. And it's all true.
So it's all true. So the week before they were supposed to have this show, or they're supposed to do something, and he was monitoring Sam's show. He keeps saying that he keeps saying, who is Sam Cedar? No one knows Sam Cedar. Your audience is too small. Yet he's fucking monitoring his show to make sure he's on live. So when he was on live, then he went on and did the show with Ethan, right? And then they agreed to come and have this little debate. So what happened was that, like we've done once or twice before, Sam Cedar pre-recorded a show.
Yes, sir.
And then he premiered it as if he was going live. And so he waited, because when they were doing the sound test, Ethan says, oh, he wasn't even on when we were doing the sound test, because he was just waiting to see if Sam's show was on already. And when he saw that pre-record go on, that made it look like it was a live show. Then he was like, okay, then he came on and he thought that he was safe, but he like just had a feeling that something was off.
Terrified.
You're going to say something about his dad?
Yeah. So back to that thing from like the week prior, his dad sent Ethan Klein an email, his people an email, was that he had a family emergency with his wife that's pregnant with twins, that she couldn't make it. Now listen, hope everything's well with her family and the twins. But
Absolutely.
if sir, you used your wife and soon to be children as an excuse, you are the biggest bitch and a terrible human
excuse. Yeah.
And a terrible human being because you spoke some shit into existence, right? You put some energy out there that your kids were like your wife being had a medical emergency is a terrible thing to do. You're a piece of shit, bro.
You put that shit out there. You put that energy into the world.
You're a terrible human being. All right, play this shit so we can laugh. He's so scared, bro. He's so scared.
Decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Steven, do you know that the Spartans are like practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen.
What
did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there it is. Oh no, Sam's
his face. Let's go back a few more. I want to see his face.
Oh my god.
Practice man love with children.
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid.
Look at his face. Oh shit. Oh shit. He saw Sam Cedar pop up on the Zoom.
Hey, John, listen. Hold on, look. Hold on, wait. Look.
Okay.
Look. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Cedar.
Oh, listen, man. I don't care how many people I have a conversation with. I will never be this afraid to talk to somebody. Like, ever in the history of me, bro. I promise you, would I never be this terrified to talk to somebody.
Yeah, man. Like, I've had those conversations before where I'm like, dude, I'm not as well informed as you are.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you feel that way. I feel how I feel. You're not changing my mind. We can agree to disagree.
You're not changing.
And you know,
maybe you're
more informed than I am. But yeah, maybe you're more informed than I am, and then that's probably right. But you know what? You know, it is what like I'll give it to you. Like, hey, you know more about this topic than I do, so I can't really have an intelligent conversation about you. But I'm not going to fucking avoid you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that shit.
You know what? I'm also not gonna do. Make sure to tell my producer.
What a fucking nightmare! I had no idea.
Make sure to tell my producer to get somebody else and get the camera off me because I'm sweating bullets and crying like a whiny little bitch, bro.
Right, immediately jumped out of the fucking frame,
bro. What a bitch!
Like, what was he doing back there? Like, what faces was he making? What walls was he punching? He was pissed. I mean, does he have BB guns in the fucking holsters there? Like, whoa, he was shooting something.
Why does he have a holster?
Because he's an alpha fucking male. Because he fights. Because he has a holster. Because he fights like hell, according to his shirt. Because he's a fucking Spartan armor systems warrior who fucking runs away from a dude that wants to have a conversation with him. Yeah. That's what this dude is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me play.
Yeah, this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave, remember I told you? I said I guarantee you he's going to do anything he can to avoid the debate.
I don't know how tall this guy is. He might be taller than me. He might be 8 feet tall. But look at his face. He looks like a fucking leprechaun. I'm sorry. He looks like a leprechaun.
Ethan Klein said it too. 100%.
I think he calls him that too.
He does.
But he looks like it. Not because of the height. Okay, I don't know how tall he is, but the face. That dude is a damn leprechaun. He's kind of creepy. Why is the host of the show not on here? Why am I looking at his producer, his assistant, whoever this dude is?
Hey, John, look, this is gonna sound. This is a very weird comment to say, and the way his legs are situated, it looks like his feet are swinging. Like look at the shadow of where his arms are. And look at his leg. Like he looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like
he looks on a high stool.
He looks like he's sitting.
Bar stool?
No. I think he's just sitting in a regular chair. It just looks like a bar stool. That's what I think.
I might be taller than him then. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
First of all, right.
Anybody who wears
I usually say short people got to stick together, but no, not this dude.
Anybody who wears a sports coat with a t-shirt under is definitely a badass, right? That guy's a fucking
for sure.
That guy's about that action, boss. All right, play it.
Look, man, why are his legs so tight together? Like,
Who-
I know he's not doing fucking squats and deadlifts.
He doesn't
Why are
fit
his
in that
legs
chair.
so like tight together? Like,
Well-
don't you need like some space? Like just
Yeah.
some space?
If
No?
you
Okay.
if you don't need the
All right.
space, then you don't need the space. You understand? Like
I mean, like he's not even. It looks like he's doing the opposite. Instead of trying to like kind of like create some space, it looks like he's trying to press his legs as tight together as
Yeah.
possible. Like that shit looks uncomfortable to me.
that looks
He's got a
miserable, bro.
fucking. I think he's got a goddamn camel toe. I can't believe I just noticed that shit. I gotta look away now.
Hey, you know how bad it is? It's making me like mad.
Oh, I just think he
spread
believes that he
myself
should
over here.
debate you.
No, he doesn't.
Like I'm spreading, like I'm
Oh,
overspreading my
man.
legs on purpose just to be more comfortable. Because that looks so uncomfortable.
It does look uncomfortable. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna let it play for like a minute, and then or maybe a minute and a half, because I think that's when they start to talk about some of the ridiculous issues for why they've been avoiding him.
Yeah, and all the
but
truth
yeah,
comes out
Let
while he's
me-
trying to
let
be
me let
cool.
it roll.
Let it go.
Yeah.
He just takes advantage of women with mental health issues.
Steven,
Ethan
you know
Klein
what's
doesn't stand up and do his
Funny,
own
I gotta
fighting.
say,
Right.
It's
I
just
told
hilarious.
my
Let's bring on
producers
FM.
that you would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point that you made
Yes,
at the
that's
beginning
include
of
Joe
this
Rogan.
Yeah,
was-
Joe Rogan and Ben
Rubin
and Dave
Ben
Rubin and
Shapiro.
Jordan Peterson and Noam Chomsky and Sam Harris. Everyone's been avoiding.
And not just
Sam
attempting to get
Cedar.
your audience by jumping in.
Well, I debated with Charlie Kirk. Stephen, I mean, it's
Okay.
about issues. Let's
It's about
talk
issues,
about those
yeah.
issues.
That's
I
what
think
you're
you have
doing
some
here.
valid
Yeah.
points.
You're
that
so
I think we
clever.
should
I had no
discuss.
idea that you were taking your show off early last time, coming in today with your
Boom.
pig pen peanuts
I
eyes.
wish everything.
You take those off with the
really
velveteen
are.
buttons.
You've been
Black
very worried
eyes,
about
aren't
this,
they? Like
Stephen. I don't know why.
No
it would
one's
be
worried
Oh, come
about
on,
it.
so
Say, I
concerned.
didn't want to
Well,
do
let's have the
Sam,
debate.
come
If
on.
no
Just
one's
I'll tell
worried,
you what. I
let's
have a
do this.
general.
This is a
rule.
great
I
opportunity.
don't start a
to-
debate based with people on a lie. And how
Or
about you get to a,
sabotaging?
how about you get to
Steven,
a
show
30th
yourself,
of the
you
audience
coward.
share?
Steven, show yourself.
30th
Don't show
of the
your
audience.
co-host.
Ethan, you should
Steven,
show yourself.
excuse-
Ethan, how
why
can
are
you
you
respect
afraid
yourself
to
as a
be
man,
wrong?
brother?
Something
Steven,
so strongly
Steven, you
that
are
you're
such
not
a
willing to
coward. Stop
debate.
showing your little
I
leprechaun
thought you would
co-host who
welcome
comes
it.
out dressed like
Ethan,
your
Ethan, come on,
sidekick.
Ethan. Why do you have to bring on a
Show
guy who has
Steven.
a 30th of the
I'm really-
viewership?
Why
of
are
the
you-
show?
Saddest thing I've ever heard. So you have a
Just
guy
show
with
Steven.
less viewers to come on to debate him because you can't.
Well,
Why
obviously,
don't
if
you
I'm
get
a
some-
Apparently he
if,
had to think
obviously
about it,
I'm
bro.
a if I'm a layup
Yeah,
and
you
not a
had to think
debater.
about it.
Well, look,
Yeah,
you're the
I
one
mean,
who
You're the
called.
one
You're
that
the one who
started
got
the
personal.
debate.
You
You're
started
the one
it.
that got angry
Yeah,
about
show-
it.
They just yell over each other.
Yeah.
Like it's they said some pretty like I'm trying to I thought he said some like anti-Semitic stuff there when he's talking about like the velveteen rabbit eyes or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Or take off your glasses to see if you have a soul.
a little
I thought he was
anti-Semitic.
Headed
Slightly.
that route.
Yeah, it's definitely headed
Uh,
that route for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he does, right? Like, you know what's funny? So
Um,
if you don't listen to Steven Crowder, thank you. And if you listen to us,
I think
shout
so.
out-
That's what it is. Like, I guess he's implying he's soulless because he's Jewish or something like that. Just
Yeah.
some. I mean, yeah. And then the other bullshit. There's like, oh, you don't have an audience. He's like, your audience is. He's got 1 million viewers. So I guess because he doesn't have 6 or 7 million viewers like Crowder.
Here's the funny
1
thing
million
about
viewers
that.
is nothing. He called it he called it a pig pen sized whatever audience. I don't know
Yeah.
what he was
That's what he
saying.
meant by that.
Like, no, dude, he's got 1 million viewers.
That's
I
a
mean-
lot. That's a lot, bro. Here's what's funny about that. He goes, I
a
don't
lot.
talk to anybody with less than me. So Steven Crowder has roughly 5 to 6 million subscribers, right?
Mhm.
Ethan Klein from H3H3 only has 3 million. So his excuse of I don't talk to anybody with less subscribers than me is already bullshit. 3.5 million,
Yeah,
3.05
Exactly.
subscribers. So what are we talking about here? Like I don't like look if
So
and he
why?
said
Are you, yeah, why are you debating him? He's
Yeah.
got less people than you. But
it's
Go ahead.
look, so what's frustrating, right, is that if you believe in the stuff you're saying, you're okay having a conversation. Like I'm not a fan of her at all in any way whatsoever. Candace Owens would at least have the debate and have her talking points ready.
I think, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's debated Cornel West.
Mhm.
She's debated, you know what I mean, Killer Mike on stage. She's up for the debate.
Yep.
Everything she spews is nonsense and skewed data to her perspective, so on and so forth. Right? But at least she's willing to have the debate. When you're so afraid, as a man wearing a gun holster on a YouTube channel with your friends around you, that you can't have a conversation, I got nothing else for you, bro. I got nothing else. If I'm holding, John, if you're here, if we recorded together live in person, right, and I had my gun on my hip, and
They're
you were the
thousands
only,
of miles away from each other, man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I have my gun? Why would I have a holster and not even have my gun in the holster? And B, why would I even have a fucking holster? Like, I'm surrounded by my friends in my studio. You have 6 million subscribers. Well, I went on a normalized gun ownership. What does that have to do with anything, brother? Like, you're on a YouTube show with your friends around you. Your propaganda. Sit down and shut up. Like, just, you could have the guns behind you on a fucking, like, on a wall mounted. I'm cool with, like, what shit is about to pop off? And you can't even handle a conversation. You're gonna handle an intruder in your house, brother. That's what we talking about. Like, that's how you normalizing gun ownership.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But he said it though, right? He said it, and you made the point that H3 has they have half the subscribers that Crowder does.
Yep.
So why are you having the conversation with him? Because of the reason that Crowder said, because he thought that he was a layup. That's who he takes. People that he thinks are going to be a layup or an alley-oop or whatever fucking metaphor, whatever you want to use, that he's going to fucking slam dunk, that he's going to be like, I'm going to steamroll these guys and they don't have a chance against me. And I mean, if he suspected that this shit was going to happen and he suspected that it was going to happen the week before,
doesn't take the
if you suspected it, wouldn't you already have the talking points? Wouldn't you already be prepared anyway?
Yeah.
Why would you run off if you suspected it? Then you should have been ready. You don't want to have the conversation because you don't have an intelligent point to make.
Right. You know how
you can make your point and be, you know.
You know how easy it is to stick to your talking points. You say, like, we have a debate. You say everything you need to say to the actually answering the question, and I just go my talking points. Right? Like, I become a robot, and look, they do it on debates all the time. They did it on every political stage we saw over the last 6 years. Right?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio, stick to your talking points. Just stick to your talking points. You might not come out great, but to your audience, you're going to come out fantastic because that's what they watch you for.
That's what they want to hear. Yeah.
It's the easiest fuck. It is a layup in that sense because you literally don't have any individual thought of yourself as a person. You're just saying what your money backers give you. So it's not actually that. That's what makes it worse. I don't know if anybody said that, like, on any of the stuff I've seen. Like, that's what makes it worse. You only say what you're told to say. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, and I agree with Hassan Piker who says, you know, debate is just for entertainment. Like, it doesn't get anything accomplished.
No, it doesn't.
It's fun. It's entertainment. It's verbal sparring to entertain people because it doesn't accomplish anything. The people that support you are going to support you no matter what because, like you said, to stick to talking points, and those people that support you blindly aren't going to listen to whatever the other guy has to say. They're just not. That's how shit works. That's why you really can't change people's minds. Like his fucking show, Change My Mind. You're not going to because people's minds don't get changed. But it doesn't happen through debate. It might happen through conversation, but he wasn't willing to do any of that.
He said on his own show that Change My Mind isn't a debate, it's a conversation. So take that with a grain of salt. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. It's funny that he was so afraid to just stick to his talking points. Like, that's how much Sam Cedar destroyed him and his talking points that he couldn't even have the ability to regurgitate them. It was beautiful to watch, man. I've never seen somebody be unmanned like that since Reek in Game of Thrones. If you don't know that reference, Reek got his fucking dick and balls cut off.
Because I refuse to watch it.
Yeah, that's what you need to know. That's what happened. You watch a YouTube version of a man getting fucking castrated. Dude, it's a conversation with somebody over the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like me and you right now. If we disagree on something, I'm like, nah, oh, what a fucking nightmare. And I'm just done. And I show you my dog that's on my bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck is that, bro? It's some bitch shit. Ugh. That's a great way to end that one, man. I got nothing else. What else you got?
I think so. It's a great way to end this 50-minute podcast that was supposed to be 25 to 30 minutes.
It's always double. Hey, man. Cheers, my brother. To another good podcast. Episode 195 in the books, baby. All right, man.
Cheers.
We out. Peace. You gonna do your weird peace sign, John? There it is.